Okay, so I'm gonna make some more little puffball monsters today. Um, over on my shelf over there. So, try to make sure I'm on camera. Here we go. So this is what they'll look like when they're done. Except that I found that painting on cardstock for the arms and legs was kind of not as effective as I hoped it would be, so I have felt this time. I'm going to do felt arms and legs. I'm just going to pluck the stray random pieces of tinsel first, because those are going to be very much in the way. Little guys like to shed. And then I just kind of roll them around to fluff them back up, because they ship in a bag, so they get a little squished. So, hey Julie, yeah, I'm doing crafty things today. Hopefully I won't have quite as many crashes as I had on my stream on Sunday. Thursday too, I think, was really bad. I haven't had a good signal lately. Hoping that wherever we move to has better internet service. So there's usually, even after they've been rolled and fluffed, there's usually still one side that's a little flatter than the rest, which looks like it's going to be probably this side on this one. So I just make that the bottom. I sneezed hiding in my sinuses for like the last hour. Finally came out. Oh, feels so good. Okay. Sometimes they have a couple of flat sides, so I just try to put one in the back and one on the bottom if I can. But this one doesn't seem... I've been rolling this one since before I went live, and it just doesn't seem to want to fluff all the way back up. So, that's okay. Flat sides are also good for gluing the eyes too, because obviously you don't want to glue the eye onto a side that's got a bunch of tinsel sticking out of it. So, there wasn't really a very good assortment in this pack that I bought. I got like 3, 4, I had 5 each of pink and yellow, and only 3 of these light blue, and I had 2 dark blue, and 2, I think, no, 3 greens, 3 dark blues, 3 light blues, and then like 5 of pink and yellow, and I hate pink and yellow, so I was kind of disappointed by that, but honestly, like, they do contrast really nicely with some of the eyes that I have. Oh, there's a cardinal and a red-winged blackbird both on my feeder right now, and I just put my hand down on my hot glue gun because I was distracted by birds in the window. Okay, so this is my eye box. Well, I should say it's one of my eye box. I have another box that has safety eyes for when I make my plush art dolls, but this is my googly eye box. So all the ones on this side actually glow in the dark. And then I have these ones up in the corner that have little eyelashes on them. And then I have a couple of rows of colored googly eyes, and then a couple spaces of these, which none of these match each other. They're all pretty cheaply made. So I typically use those for like one-eyed things, and then a whole bunch of these giant ones. Oh, I have to go with the collars. Yeah, definitely show pictures later. Just to make sure I had colors that would match, I grabbed my whole bin of felt. Once I get eyes on, I can pick colors that are gonna go well. Okay. My glue gun is nice and hot, so I gotta start picking some eyes out and stop looking at birds out the window. Okay. We don't have a lot of cardinals here, but we do have a few that visit regularly. So they're like, they must be living somewhere nearby because they come by a few times a day. We also have pigeons, which I always thought was weird. Like, as soon as they started showing up, I was like, okay, we have suburban pigeons now. Because we're definitely not in a city, like, we're by the park. And I've never seen pigeons just, like, in a suburb of a suburb, like where I live. So it was really bizarre. But we have a few of them, and they hang out, and they actually guard the bird feeder from the squirrels. So we like the pigeons. We try to make sure that the pigeons have enough treats that they'll hang around. Alright. So this one has a pretty good flat surface, but it's not quite big enough for the big eye. We have mostly sparrows, but every now and then we get like really, really pretty birds. Like the red-winged blackbirds, those are my favorite. They're so pretty. And it's funny because the first time we saw them, I tried to look up what they were, and obviously because I don't know what they are, I just Googled blackbird red wings, and it came up that they're red-winged blackbirds. So... because you know some birds have like really stupid names. Well, that was that was like a stupidly obvious name, but they're super pretty birds. They have like red and white, like a red patch with a white stripe through it on their shoulders. I don't know if I like this dark blue on the dark green. I feel like it needs something. The green needs something brighter. I don't think I've done any brown on these puffball monsters yet. Looks okay. Maybe another one. Yeah, with the little brown eyes on there. Oh, we have tons of black squirrels here. They're a nuisance. Most of our squirrels here are black. We have a couple of gray ones. And there's one big fat red squirrel that is just the biggest bully, and we don't like that squirrel. Even more than we don't like the other ones that try to get into the bird feeder. We really hate that. The big red squirrel, because it's just mean. It scares away all the birds, it scares away all the other squirrels. And it's so fat, like it doesn't need to be scaring everything away. You can afford to share the snacks. I don't know who's feeding that squirrel, but he should just hang out at their house. Yeah, I know. A lot of people, even people from nearby cities, like my friends who don't live here, will come to my house and they see the black squirrels outside and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you have black squirrels!" And I'm like, "We can't get rid of them. They're everywhere." I don't know when it shifted either. I feel like it was within the last several years, because I've been in and out of this house for the last 25 years. Like, I moved in and out a few times in between high school and various colleges. But yeah, we've owned this house for 25 years, and when we moved in, it was all red squirrels. Like, they were normal squirrels. And then there started being gray squirrels showing up, and then very quickly the gray squirrels were just gone. And it was red and black, and it was like a fairly even mix. And then the black squirrels just started being more and more populous, and the red squirrels eventually just kind of vanished. So yeah, now my friends come over and they see the black squirrels and they're like, "Wow, that's really cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, they used to be cool. If you get them, you'll only have them." So, okay, this is actually a good thing to show, because if I'm going to be doing a tutorial here, this is why you use low temp glue guns, because you can see how there's a little bit of condensation forming in there, and this is even with a low temp glue gun. If I use a high temp glue gun, the eyes actually melt. They won't attach, they'll melt. So this is just a good way to show that that heat transfers all the way to the front of the googly eyes. So it will go all the way through. Alright, there's one. Set that one over there to cool. Let's see, maybe a pink one next. If I was more interested in squirrel biology, I'd look into why it is that the black ones take over so quickly. I don't know if it's like a genetically dominant trait to be a black squirrel versus a red squirrel. But I know when we used to walk our dogs, back when we had dogs and back when I could walk, there's like a development that's a couple of streets over, and they would always have like the weirdest, like, interbred squirrels. Like, they would have red squirrels with gray legs and black tails. Like, it was crazy. They had like calico squirrels. I've never seen anything like it anywhere else. That's how I feel about kids. I used to think they were cute, now I'm surrounded by them. Yeah. Okay, so this one looks much better with the one eye because it's, a fluffier puffball. So I think I'm going to do the one eye on this one. The other thing with doing these is, especially the tinsel ones, because you have to get through the tinsel, you gotta put a lot of glue on there. Otherwise, sometimes you'll only glue to the tinsel, and if the tinsel sheds like these really like to do, then your eyeball will fall off. Yeah, Franken squirrels. That's about right. They were the craziest looking. I've literally never seen anything like it before or since. I'm honestly surprised we have as many critters in this neighborhood as we do, because we also have at least one hawk. I think there's actually two hawks. Like, I didn't realize that hawks hung out together, but the one day they were both in the tree behind my backyard, just looking into my yard for, well, for snacks, I guess. We're out there for probably about 10 minutes. One of them has actually just like camped itself out in my yard before, which, I mean, it's not really smart if you're trying to catch the critters. Like, you don't want to sit where they are, because they're gonna see you and they won't come out. But yeah, it just like flew down and perched in the middle of in the middle of my backyard. There's just a giant hawk back there all of a sudden. I think maybe the yellow guy. Yeah, I like the blue eye on the yellow guy. Alright, and these foam eyeballs are actually stickers, but the little glue that's on the sticker part isn't really strong enough to hold the eye onto anything. I say as I struggle to take it off. That's just because I don't have fingernails. But it's not like super sticky glue, so I'm gonna put glue on there anyway. Oops, where was the flat end? Yeah, this side. Okay. I glued my finger. Get the bottom nice and flat so he'll sit. There's another one. So these don't actually take that long to make, which I assume is probably why the regular non-tinsel puffball versions were like everywhere as freebie giveaways when I was a kid. I know my mom and my grandparents used to get them from like the bank and stuff, and they'd always give them to me because I thought they were the coolest things ever. And that's actually why I decided to start making them for Halloween this year. I just got on a weird nostalgia kick after watching Are You Afraid of the Dark on Paramount Plus, and I decided I wanted to do some nostalgic crafting. I don't want to make them identical, but like the colors that I have that look good with each color, like there's only so many combinations. Maybe I'll do some of these with the eyelashes, or the eyelids on them. Because I don't really use these eyes for anything else. I've literally had them in my kit for like probably 20 years at this point. These are vintage, man. These are as old as the trend of puffball monsters are. So yeah, I think I'll give this little one, little yellow guy. It's gonna be a three-eyed monster. One there, and one right in the middle. So yeah. So yeah, these used to, back when I was a kid, they used to like come with a little ribbon on, glued in between the feet and the puffball, and they would have like whatever company or organization was giving them away on the little ribbon. And they were just absolutely everywhere. Like anytime you did any kind of business function where there were like goodie bags and people would put their business cards and stuff in, you would get these little puffballs in there. And they usually had sticky feet. You could peel like the piece of paper off and the feet would be a sticker, and you could stick them onto like a desktop monitor or onto like a bulletin board, and you would have your little monster guy with you. And they weren't anywhere near as fancy as my little monsters. They were usually just like a solid color regular pom-pom with just the sticky feet and a pair of googly eyes. Yeah, they were so popular for no apparent reason as giveaways, like as promotional giveaways. kind of like stress balls. Like, that was just the thing that people would give away, was the little puffball monsters. And I had like a whole collection of them. And of course, I never took the paper off of the feet to stick them onto anything because I wanted to bring them with me places. I used to just have them like all over my doll houses, and my dolls would play with them. Yep, I got them from my grandparents frequently. Especially my grandpa, because he would go golfing, and the golf places would often have them in a little basket for you to take. Alright, there's the little three-eyed one. I remember it was always something that my mom would get really annoyed about after a while, because like she brought me a couple and then she was like, "All right, this is too many. What are you doing with these? They're everywhere. They're all over the house." And she would get annoyed when my grandpa would bring me another one. Like, "What are you doing? She doesn't need any more of those." But I'd just be so excited. I was like, "Yes, another one." Or, "Oh, but I don't have a yellow one yet." Hey, Casey. Are you lurking from work today? Okay, this one looks sufficiently fluffed, so let me find an eye for it. Okay, well this one puts me in the slightly awkward position of not having a flat side, so I'm going to trim some of the tinsel on this side because it's mostly wanting to lean anyway. So trim the ones that aren't leaning and make a flat side so I can put an eyeball on it. And let's see, I already did one pink one with one eye. How about a pink one with a glow-in-the-dark eye? Yeah. I've also been trying to find like the tinsel pipe cleaners because I want to do like little antennas and stuff. But I can't go to any stores right now because people in Ohio won't get their fucking vaccines. So I'm back to not being able to leave my house. And I can't order them online unless I order in bulk. And I don't really need 1,000 tinsel pipe cleaners. News thing. Oh, are you watching the news thingy? What's his face? The guy who murdered his girlfriend, where they thought they found his body. I saw a bunch of people posting about that right before I started my stream. Alright, so I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, but it's kind of funny when you glue the glow-in-the-dark eyes on. The heat makes them start glowing. Yeah, it doesn't really translate onto the camera very well. But everywhere you put glue down, it glows. So it's a good indicator of if you've got enough glue on there or not. Yep. Yeah. Totally understand. Yeah, didn't they find the body like somewhere that had already been searched? I kind of feel like that's a little sus. Like, how did you not find him before? Well, this is a little short, stocky guy. Alright, this one's gonna need some small eyes. So, I want to do purple maybe? I think pink and purple is a little too much. Yeah, the shiny's really fun. I was just saying how I got like a nostalgia kick for my crafting lately. And I wanted to make these because I had a bunch of them when I was a kid growing up. But when I went to Amazon to look for pom-poms, large pom-poms to make them with, I kept finding these tinsel ones, and I was like, that's way more fun. I'm gonna make sparkly ones. Park in Florida. Yeah. Yeah, I saw an article that they did find a bunch of other bodies while they were searching for him when they thought he was still alive. They found like 5 other people along the path that these couple had traveled. I mean, I guess if that's what it takes to find a whole bunch of other missing people, like, it's not all bad. If that's not evil of me to say. Alright, I think 4 eyes for this little short, stocky guy. These are the glow ones. So I'm going to see if I can get it glued down fast enough that I can turn it around and show the glow. Okay, my glue stick is running out. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a sign that people got to do a better job looking for missing persons. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, you can kind of see it's sort of glowing a little bit there. Yeah, they found like one other guy. I think I read it was like behind a dumpster. So like that guy probably would have been found eventually anyway. But the other people were all also found in parks. And 2 of them were a couple that had reported some creepy guy camping near them, which just pisses me off because who did they report this to that didn't look into it, and then these 2 women ended up dead? Like, that's not okay. I got a little bit of glue on the front of that one. Get it pressed in really well before I try and peel that off. There we go. I don't want to peel the eyeball off with the glue. Okay. Yeah, this little dude definitely needs an antenna of some sort. I'm gonna have to figure something out. Maybe I can just make one with like one of my paint stirring sticks and just paint it. Alright, so oh no, I missed the blue one. I don't know how I missed the blue one. Got one left to go. Alright, where is the flat side? This one doesn't really have a good flat side. Just see where it wants to fall. Okay. I think this guy needs... It's kind of hard to get these out sometimes when I don't have fingernails. Oh! Maybe yellow? Although I did yellow eyes and yellow accents with the other blue one that I've done so far. I don't really want to do repeats. So maybe, yeah, I think this one. Let go. At least with the low temp glue gun, when I keep gluing myself like I've been doing with these, it doesn't burn me. Okay, now I've got them all done, and I just need to get my felt so I can get some feet. Do purple for the little green guy. Actually, I think purple kind of works with the blue guy too, so I'm going to do purple for them. A cut piece. So, do that one. Doesn't really work. Ooh, I like this with the pink though. I do a couple of pink ones with the teal feet. Just blue. I did already do one thing on the blue feet, but I just think it kind of works. So I'm going to do blue. Okay. I don't think I saved a pattern for my feet, which would have been smart, but I didn't. So, I had a scrap piece of cardstock. I don't know what I did with it. There we go. I was making Halloween thank you cards and I smeared my ink on this one, so we'll use that as my pattern. Pencil. Okay. Bit rough, but fix that a bit. Okay, so a pattern for my feet. Oh, cool. Thanks. I haven't figured out how to host other people's streams on my channel yet, but I'm gonna figure it out eventually. Get my friends who stream to also be auto-hosted so that whenever I'm not on and they are, they can get some views. Okay, so there's my pattern. And then for the arms, kind of just did just like that. Yeah, I have to look up the videos on YouTube to figure out how to do everything. And it sucks because it's usually like kids that are like 10 years younger than me doing this stuff. I'm like, man, you know, I didn't feel old until I started trying to stream and I couldn't figure out how to work anything. Oh, by the way, while I have these out, PSA that if you try to sharpen your own scissors, don't use foil or any of the other crap that everybody tells you will work, because I ended up with a permanent burr in the middle of my previous pair of fabric scissors, so they're now just my all-purpose scissors. Because I ruined them. Okay.
This is so bad.
I've been shopping because I had two BliveCons in a weekend, so I just have like business cards for like doll shops all over my table, like in the way of my crafty things right now. I'm trying to grab things and I'm having to move business cards with pictures of dolls on them. Oh. I hate that YouTube always pauses my music. Like, if I don't stop it, keep it going. I have a playlist set up for a reason. Alright, I think I had just... Yeah, one pink and one yellow for the blue. Okay. So I need 2 sets of feet and 4 little arms. And I'm using heat erase pens because the glue gun will heat them up enough to remove the lines. Yeah, I just took the a couple of playlists from the Harris Heller Stream Beats playlists that he has, and I just picked the songs that I liked off of those and put them into my own playlist. I think the ones I used are called Trouble and Ghost, I think. And Ghost kind of I picked because it kind of reminded me of Silent Hill music, and Trouble kind of reminds me of Resident Evil music. So I picked those because they kind of felt appropriate for my channel. I think this is the most time-consuming part out of making these little dudes, is cutting all the pieces out. Although last time, because I made the last batch with painted cardstock, it was definitely painting the cardstock that was the most time-consuming. Okay. Alright, and then if I'm going to get rid of the lines, I just kind of dab the hot side of the glue gun against the felt. And that's why I use heat erase pens. Okay. When I glue them on, I like to do a little triangle. And then fill it in. I'm going to put my napkin under here because I don't want to get the top of my container all gluey. And then just smash. Smush it down. Voila! He's got little feet. Gotta be a little bit more delicate with the arms. But it's basically the same concept. Get rid of those ink lines. And then just along there. Just push it in. And then kind of squish it together. So that all the excess glue that gets squeezed out will get kind of gripped between the little fuzzy bits on either side, and that holds the arm in. I may make the next batch of arms longer because those almost don't show up. And same thing on the other side. find an area that looks roughly in the middle. Oops, I think I put that one up a little higher. Let's see if I can drag it down a bit before the glue dries. There. Alright, that's one finished. Yeah, definitely gonna make the next batch of arms a little longer. These ones kind of hide a little bit. And it looks a little gluey on the bottom, but he sits okay, and that's really all that matters. Alright. And triangle. And fill the triangle. Smush. For those, nope, it already came off. Okay. Edge. Find halfway point. Push it in and squish. Maybe the yellow one was just extra fluffy because that looks okay on the pink one. As much as I normally hate yellow and pink, like they're my two least favorite colors, I don't hate them for these little puffball monsters. They actually come out really cute. Actually, the pink one from the last batch is one of my favorites. It's up on my shelf. I kept it because I liked it better than the other ones. Push it in and squish. There's another one done. Okay. I do this teal. This would have been a lot easier if I would have waited to cut my nails. I just cut them a couple of days ago because I broke one all the way down. I broke this one. I don't know if you can even see, but all the way down the side, it just snapped. So I cut all the other ones to match it because I'm OCD like that. My nails must match, even though nobody ever looks at my hands. Anyway, I cut them all short because I broke one, and now I'm kind of regretting it. Like, I don't keep them super long, but I cut them so short that I'm having a hard time picking things up. Two on there. Okay. Make slightly longer arms. Two. I'll do one of these without arms. Yeah. We'll do a little antenna instead. Oops, that looks more like a horn than an antenna, but that's okay. I just realized I had my felt down on the hot patch where I was doing my gluing, and half of my lines are already disappearing. Whoops. Yeah, I normally keep them short, but I keep just like a little bit of the white on there just so I can grab things like little pieces of paper or googly eyes out of my container. I feel like if they're too long, then they have the opposite problem and they get in the way of me grabbing things. But that little bitty sliver of white that I usually leave on there just really makes a difference, apparently. I used to play the guitar as a teenager, and that was always my excuse for keeping my nails short, was that I played the guitar, and you can't have long nails. And at this point, I just got so used to it. Like, if my nails get long, I don't like how it feels. It's a really unpleasant sensory experience because I've never had long nails in my life. I don't like it now. It's just been a rough week, man. I had that really badly broken nail, and I had the ulcer like right on the end of my tongue from the steroids. I still have a little white spot right on the tip of my tongue. Like it's better. I don't feel it anymore. It doesn't hurt to talk now. Like when I did my last stream, it was still pretty uncomfortable to talk because it was literally on the edge of right on the tip of my tongue. I also have a weird germ thing about long nails. Like, I just feel like they're gross. Even if I know the person and I know that they're super clean and they wash their hands really well and they don't have any kind of hobbies where their nails are going to be picking up anything that they shouldn't, like, I still just look at long nails and, oh, I just, like, I get chills. It's like that thing where the Gen Zers like to say that, you know, anything that squicks them out is their new sleep paralysis demon. My sleep paralysis demon would just be like a middle-aged white lady with those long acrylic fingernails, just like tapping them on my wall as I'm trying to sleep. Oh, oh God, horror show. Oh no. Yeah, my nieces and nephew were passing around some bug last week. They all shared it with each other. The youngest got it the worst. I worry about her sometimes. I really, really hope that she didn't inherit the side of my family's genes that I have because, I don't know, she's got a lot of skin issues already as a young kid, and I know that that's not like terribly uncommon, but she also had intestinal issues as a baby, and just a lot of health problems that this child has had are just sounding very familiar. I worry for her. Kids are gross though, man. That's why I can't believe they opened up schools as quickly as they did. Like, I understand that you want your kids out of your house, like, you're tired of dealing with them. I get it, but they're all infecting each other now. Everybody's getting sick. Schools keep having to close because the kids keep passing around COVID. Yes, the super, oh my god, the super, super long ones. Oh god, they gross me out so bad. Like, there is no way you can wipe your ass without getting, like, poop nails. Poop nails, man. You're just walking around with poop nails. So gross. One of the channels I watch on YouTube that I really like, his name's Rolly, and he does a lot of, like, piercing fail reviews and stuff. My favorite of his reactions are always when it's somebody with long fingernails and he just goes off on a rant about how disgusting long acrylic fingernails are, and I'm just like, yes, thank you. They're so nasty. And these people, not only are they like piercing themselves with their poop nails, but like even the ones who go to professionals, they'll get their piercing and immediately like start touching it with their disgusting fingernails. Like, you just put E. coli bacteria into a fresh wound. Just trying to snip this little excess glue here, because it's right in the front and it's not super attractive. Usually that sinks in a little better into the fluffy layer. Yeah, long acrylic fingernails are my sleep paralysis demon. That's what I would see in hell. Just people constantly touching things that I'm about to touch with long acrylic fingernails. Get this out of the way so I can put the little antenna up here. Antenna slash horn. I do think it looks a little bit more like a horn than a proper antenna, but it's cute. was cutting my mom's hair yesterday, and we were talking about massages, and it's just like, I don't know if it's just because of my own thing that I don't really care for physical contact in general. I don't really want my friends to touch me. I don't want people I know well to touch me. I don't even really want people I'm in a relationship with to be touching me. But like the idea of a massage where it's just like a stranger touching like all over your body, and it's not even in a way that feels good, like it's painful. That just like, it sounds like torture. It does not sound like an enjoyable experience. I can't ever see myself like going to a stranger and getting a massage. I think that I think that a massage in some of my sore areas could definitely be helpful for me. And like if I had a friend who was, offering to do it for me, or who I was paying to do it, I think maybe I could get over it then, maybe. But like, it's an awful thought. And then as I'm sitting here talking about the fingernails, like I got the thought into my head that like the worst possible thing I can imagine is getting a massage from a stranger who has really long acrylic fingernails. Like that's the absolute worst experience that I can come up with in my brain. I can't think of anything that would be more unpleasant. Like I would rather chew on a sheet of foil. Yeah, I don't know about the ASMR. I can't. The fingernail ASMR, so bad. There are so many sounds that just like, because I have misophonia, which is where you get just like irrational amounts of rage from certain sounds. And there are so many sounds that the ASMR people use that will set me off. Like, just throw me instantly into a blind rage. Like pen clicking? Nope. Nope. I will murder you if I have to listen to you click your pen. Or like the mukbang videos that people really enjoy watching for some reason. Like, that's disgusting to me. Not even just because these people are consuming obscene amounts of food, but like, all of them seem to be intentionally making as much noise with it as they can, and it's absolutely disgusting. Like, it's straight up revolting. And people will just sit and watch those videos, like, for hours. That's gotta be like a fetish thing. There's no way that's not a fetish, because how do you enjoy that? And before I get questions, the only reason I know what that is because I did at one point have a conversation with somebody about potentially becoming a cam girl to make some extra cash. And I was joking about, well, there's people that just like to watch people eat, and I know how to eat. I can just eat on camera. And they were like, oh yeah, there's mukbang videos, and people watch those, and like, there's definitely a following for that. People will sign up for an OnlyFans just to watch you eat food in your underwear. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me check those out. God, they're awful! And, like, all of the popular ones make noise. Like, none of them eat politely. Like, I couldn't do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lawn equipment. Lawn equipment is a big one for me. Not just leaf blowers, but like any lawn equipment because it's a repetitive, buzzing type of a noise. And repetitive noises for me are one of the biggest triggers. So like the tapping, the pen clicking, lawn equipment, construction equipment. Trying to think what else. You spelled it almost correct, by the way. It's just an I instead of a Y. Oh my god, and atonal jazz music. That's like the number one trigger for me. That my brain stops functioning and I just see red. And so many of the doctor's offices that I used to go to, they would have like atonal jazz music playing in the waiting rooms. And I'm like, why are you doing this? And then I realized it's because all of those doctors I was visiting are typically old people doctors. They're boomer doctors. And like, jazz is boomer music. So I'm like, damn it, I'm never going to be able to get away from it. Why do I have to have old people problems? I just remember trying to explain it to my mom at one point. She was like, you just have to learn coping skills. I was like, I don't think you understand. Like, if I could cope with this, I absolutely would. My brain literally ceases to function. All that it can feel is anger. I can't form enough rational thought to cope. You know, coping skills requires you to be rational enough to realize that the situation is not the end of the world. And when I'm having issues with when I'm having like a sensory issue of any kind, like my brain does not function. It just stops. You could set off a bomb behind me and I would not react because my brain is not functioning anymore. Okay, I like this little guy. This one might have to be staying with me. I haven't even put his arms on yet. Sorry, orange guy. I'm keeping your brother. Yeah, that's the only thing I can do is completely drown the sound out. So if I'm going to be in one of those like doctor's offices, I have to have a second person with me so they can like nudge me when my name is called because I gotta have the sound drowned out and I won't be able to hear. Otherwise, I go into rage mode and then I go into the office and they're like, "Why is your blood pressure so high?" And I have to explain that it's because my brain has ceased to function for the last half an hour because all I could hear was a saxophone. Oops. Oh, I made a mess on this side. Okay, this one's definitely gonna live with me. Whoopsies. I don't know if it'll show, but oh, I got glue all over his side. Poor guy. Okay, well, that's alright. He'll live on my shelf where he'll be appreciated anyway. Okay, and then usually if they have like a little beard like this dude has going on, I like to trim that. Like they can stay shaggy over their feet, but I like for there to be like a nice neat edge in the front. Unless it's a really even beard. Like this guy has a really even beard going all the way around, so I left it. Okay, I have 2 left. Alright, I'm gonna do the yellow one next. Blue. This glue gun is almost as old as I am, so it's a little temperamental sometimes. It's not actually technically a low temp gun, it's just that it doesn't function. It doesn't function properly anymore. So it's a low temp gun because it turns itself off sometimes. But honestly, like, it's holding up better than some of the ones that I've bought to replace it that did nothing but have constant glue diarrhea the whole time they're on. Like, it doesn't really drip. You know, it's got a little bit of a bead forming on the end, but it's nowhere near as messy as any of the ones that I have bought to replace it. I've spent good money on glue guns trying to replace this one. I've given up. I bought actually a fancy no drip glue gun, and I accidentally didn't buy, because it works with full size glue sticks, and I've always used the ones that work with mini glue sticks, and I forgot to buy the big glue sticks to go with it, so I have like a brand new glue gun sitting in my glue box off to the side here that I haven't been able to use yet because I can't go back to the store to buy more glue. Oh, that sounds fun. I want to try painting on rocks on one of my streams. I think that would be kind of a fun thing to try. Yeah, it is. It's just, it's a Surebonder. It doesn't have any dates on it. All I know is that my mom has had it for as long as she can remember. So it's probably about as old as I am. And aside from the fact that it doesn't really stay hot like it should, and it's basically turned itself into a low temp gun, like I don't have any other problems with it. The only reason I started trying to replace it was because it doesn't really get hot enough all the time. If I need a high temp gun, it doesn't get hot enough, but for things that I need a low temp gun for, it's fine. And it's just like, it's just one of the little $5 ones. Like, I've seen them sell very similar ones for like $5, $6 on sale. I think even the actual low temp glue gun that I bought right before this one stopped working properly is also a $5 Surebonder. And this one still works better than that, so there is something to be said for the little Surebonder miniguns. have like this whole stash of glue guns at this point. I bought, oh no, it's AdTech. This is my actual low temp gun, which I basically never use because the other one essentially functions as a low temp gun. This one was supposed to be a dual temp gun, and I spent, I think, about $20 on it. And it does nothing but drip. Like, it just drips the entire time it's on. It makes a huge mess. It wastes so much glue. I absolutely never use it. But I don't feel right trying to sell it either, and I hate to just throw it away. So I kept that one. And then this is the new one that I got. And it's got, can you see that little, the precision tip on it? And I really wanted it because it has the precision tip, and it is supposedly a dripless gun. But I haven't been able to test it yet. And I also like that it has like a big trigger, because as much as I like the mini guns, like the problems I have with my hands, I can use this left-handed a lot easier. So, I don't know. I'm hoping that when I eventually get the right size glue sticks for it, that it'll work well. But yeah, I have that, and then I have like bags and bags of glue sticks because I used to keep losing them, and then they're cheap, so I just buy more. So I have 1 bag, 2 bags, 3 bags. This is the new one that I bought of giant glue sticks that are, they're the mini size. I bought them by accident. So now I have that, and I have this one. I have a problem. But now that I've started organizing, like, this is how I keep finding all of the ones that were lost, because they really were lost. So, as I've been, like, cleaning and packing and putting things away, now they're in the right place. Hopefully now I won't lose them anymore. And whenever I eventually get my actual, like, art studio in the new house, everything will have a proper place, and it won't continuously get lost. I won't keep buying replacements I don't actually need. Yeah. Yard rocks, I've heard, are pretty good. Just like the smooth ones that they use for landscaping and stuff, right? That's funny. I might have to steal some from some of these houses we keep looking at. Every time we go to a house that has an oak tree, I steal their acorns. I feed them to our squirrels. Keeps them out of the bird feeder. I'm pretty sure our realtor thinks we're nuts by now, because my mom and I will both do it. We'll go out in the backyard and just, like, walk around in the yard and steal their acorns. Fill our pockets with acorns. Alright, now, I think that's all of them done. Clean up the little blue strings. Glue gun. So, there's that one, this one, that one, and this one, and this one. Oh, the messy boy. butter. Do some painting now. I have these little toy boxes I'm trying to finish up. Not too dark or light, small but not too small. Yeah. No, it's not even that we're squirrel people. It's just that it keeps, if we have enough snacks on the ground for the squirrels, it keeps them from going into the bird feeder. So we just, and we don't have acorns in our yard, so we have to steal other people's acorns to feed the squirrels that we don't even really like. Like we put out peanuts and stuff, but usually the chipmunks steal them all before the squirrels get any. Alright, so this mostly just needs a last coat of white put on some of the sides. So this one's almost done. This one I may sell because I like it, but I think it's a little too busy to be using in my doll photos the way I was planning on using it. So it's got, oops, this way or this way it can be displayed. So I just have to put one more layer of white on this side, and this side needs a couple layers. Okay, so yeah, I think I'll do this and just flatten it out. I have a bunch of stuff in here too because of course I do. Oh, there's the other arms that I didn't end up using for the last batch of monsters. So I was going to paint this little dude today, but I dropped it after I had just put the wings on because they got broken in the mail. And I had glued them back on, and then I dropped it from like this high off of the table, and they came off again. So I think they're really, really fragile, and I'm going to have to find a better way to reattach them. I'm hoping I can do that in time to paint it for next week's stream, because I think it would be really fun to do a little dragon for the last stream before Halloween. So hopefully. But I do still have these, so it's not like I don't have enough other things that need painting. I just put the dots on this one today. Obviously, I did a fantastic job. I'm going to have to clean those up. I've also mostly finished painting my figurines. I think I have like 3 figurines left, so I still have some things left to do for a Halloween stream. Thank you. Yeah. I like it. It's just, I think it's probably going to be distracting from everything else if I put it in my doll photos as a photo prop. So I think it would work better for somebody who has like a doll display, like one of the really cool room boxes or something. It would look really, really fun in one of those. So I think when I finish it, I'm going to put it up for sale. Just clean that up a little bit. So, where did I put my here we go. It's not really wet. That's alright. As long as I can wipe wet paint off of my hands, that's good enough. Okay. So I'm just using the apple barrel white for these, not one of my fancy Stuart Simple whites, because I want them to be not perfectly super duper sparkling white, just because of the style they are. I think it works a little better if they look almost aged, kind of. So I want them to be just off-white, which actually ended up working out for this one because it had, I think, marker on it before I painted it, and the marker color keeps coming through in the paint. I don't know if I can get it to show well enough, but you can see like little bits of almost pink coming through because it was a red marker, and then on the inside there was blue. I'm going to cover the insides with scrapbook paper. But I think it, again, I think it kind of works with the design aesthetic to not be perfectly white. You know, it looks a little bit worn, kind of a shabby chic thing going on. So I'm not really worried about correcting it. I just want to get a final coat on to fill in these patchy areas. Then I'm going to go over with black and clean up the edges. Now I'm realizing I probably should have done the other side first because the other side needs at least 2 more coats. And this one just needs 1. So I'm going to flip it open in a second and do the back. And also not really worrying about brush strokes because I think brush strokes also kind of works with the shabby chic aesthetic. So I'm just laying it on thick. My little super teeny angled brush. So get these curved areas. Oops. See, with the little bitty angled brush, it's a little hard to do because I don't have the steadiest hands. Tinsel there. I don't know how well this is even picking up because this camera really hates picking up white. But come on, camera, you could do it. There we go. So it's still gonna need 1 more coat, but it's starting to fill in. that one. Letters are hard, man. I had to sketch and re-sketch these letters so many times that I actually started wiping off the black layer underneath, even though I sealed it before I started. Because I wanted it to be just right. Like, I want it to look, you know, kind of homemade versus handmade. I want it to look like it was hand done by somebody who was just having fun and then was well loved and kind of aged. But I'm still a perfectionist at heart. So I still struggled with getting it to be exactly how I wanted it. It's kind of like how, you know, a perfectly styled bedhead doesn't just happen by accident. You have to try to make it look so messy. Get the notifications for. Oh. Okay, I actually just got a message I have to take care of really quick. So I'm gonna, because it's 5:15, I think by the time I'm done it's gonna be too late to come back. So I'm gonna sign off for the day. I'll be back tomorrow, Thursday evening, with more games. Hopefully next Tuesday with more art stuff. As long as I don't develop more ulcers on my tongue that make it painful to talk before Tuesday, then I should be back to the normal schedule. Tuesday, somewhere between 2 and 3. I'm gonna keep working on this while I go do my phone call, and I don't know. If I finish it tonight, I'll post it on Instagram before I put it up for sale. I don't think I'll finish it tonight, though. Yeah, but thank you for watching. Sorry to cut it short so abruptly. Yeah, thank you, Julie. You too. Okay, bye, guys.